neighbors on the front porch singing old familiar song. The tractor's in the barn and the pastor's freshly mown. Looking through the screen door, the aroma draws you in to the heart of the home where old memories begin. The heart of the home is calling you in. Cherie's in the kitchen, cooking with her friends, sharing recipes together, stories and songs, making new memories, the heart of the home.
Welcome to Heart of the Home, away from home, but Hans Rueffert is joining me. Now, this was your home for a while.
For a long time. We shot about, I think, 36 cooking shows from here, actually. Yeah.
We are at Town and Country in Fannin County. Now, tell me what this kitchen, what does it mean to you? Some things were done for you, I understand.
Number one, this used to be about here, which me being, sort of the vertical giant that I am, we had to sort of move the hood up, as well as the cooktop here was had a little ridge where people sitting there couldn't see. So the first time we walked in here, we were sort of eyeballing whether we'd do a show in here or not. That was the first thing I had to change. And lucky enough, Donna and Kay here were nice enough to rearrange things. I think the original one is still in the building here somewhere, but there's no point in having a demo kitchen if the people sitting out there can't see what we're doing.
Exactly. Now, we do have a live audience today, and we're going to cook something that I think is a recipe you can do with your children.
Yeah, we look at that too. My kids love to get involved in this kind of thing, and it's not too overly messy too, because that's the other thing with kids' recipes sometimes is they end up wearing more than they actually get in the pan. But you did kind of catch me off guard because I have to measure things, which is not something I'm...
And that's something we want to talk about. If you have seen Hans cook on Hans Cooks the South.
Yeah, gosh, I've had 3 different shows. Hans Cooks the World, Hans Cooks the South, and then I guess I was on Flavors of the South for a time there too, so... The
first time you and I worked together, he didn't measure and I didn't measure. We both walked in to do a cooking show. Neither one of us needed a measuring cup because a recipe is only a beginning.
That's right.
This recipe was submitted by a viewer of North Georgia Now Today, Joyce Kearns, and it is exact. It is measuring. It is 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of sugar, 1 egg, a teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. Okay, audience, what did we leave out? Flour.
Normally,
there's no flour in this cookie recipe, but this is the most amazingly simple recipe. Now, we're going to do it with creamy peanut butter, and we have to say compliments of the Blue Star grocery store in Jasper. When you walk in a store, have an idea of what you're going to do, but then add to that idea. And I have added some chocolate chips that are not in the recipe, and I added, this is Scotty Mayfield's Strawberry Preserves. And let me tell you about these. You will like them because they're not overly sweet. I got to thinking about my favorite sandwich in the world is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with, I might add, a jug of Mayfield chocolate milk.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought the first time I made these cookies, I added some jelly to it. I put just a little dollop of jelly on top of it. So the whole key to this, start with a simple recipe and add the things you like.
I do that quite a bit. I teach classes at the Cancer Wellness Center down at Piedmont Hospital a lot. And they're always asking me to submit recipes prior to the class. But the day of the class, I like to go into the market and see what's fresh. And so I might have sort of an idea of what I'm going to do. But like you said, as you go into the market, if you see a nice jam, or even at the farmer's market, somebody hands you a jar of fig preserves, or strawberry preserves, all of a sudden your mind starts going in different directions. So I think sometimes people get sort of these blinders on with recipes, and that's kind of why I resent them at times, is because people think, well...
He has said some negative things about recipes. Yes, he has.
Well, but having said that, of course I have a cookbook and there's recipes in there too. It's obviously, if you've never done it before, as you mentioned, I love when you say a recipe is a starting point. And sometimes you do need to get sort of an idea. It's almost like a roadmap. You got to get some of your sort of bearings on where things are. But then once you have that, well, then just jump in the car and drive. You know what I mean? And don't worry so much about, I have to do it this way. So a little bit of experimentation, I think, is fun.
Okay, so far, a cup of peanut butter.
Yep.
And then you're going to add the vanilla flavoring.
I've already got a cup of sugar in there, and then 1 egg, and then I'm going to measure this very precisely. We're going to put some of that in there.
Oh, yeah. I love, he measures like I do. That's right. That's right. Now, this is a KitchenAid mixer, and we can tell you at Town and Country they have KitchenAid products. So come by and get to know the nice folks at KitchenAid.
And that's it?
And at Town and Country. That is it. That's your ingredients.
That's pretty much hard to believe there.
It doesn't seem right, but it is right. And these are the most amazingly good cookies. Now, you can also substitute the regular sugar for Splenda or powdered sugar. Now, obviously, Splenda's going to make a difference. And if you like Splenda, try that.
And they make that 50-50 blend as well. It's half Splenda, half sugar. So if you've got sugar issues, We can try that.
And peanut butter, I'll tell y'all this, I have been trying to do protein. I've been doing low fat, but I've been trying to do protein. Peanut butter is a great protein product.
It's full of protein, and it being a plant protein, a lot of folks don't realize that, they think protein, they think steak. And
Oh, I think steak. I think filet mignon at the Woodbridge Inn.
and obviously that is one way to get your proteins in, but it's much, much easier for your body to process and digest plant proteins. So things like beans, which basically a peanut is essentially a bean, and nuts, and certain things like amaranth and quinoa. There's certain grains that have a lot of protein, and your body can just absolutely take that energy and use it. Whereas sometimes a steak, you've got to expend energy to get that protein out.
Right.
And that's why sometimes after you eat a steak, you feel sort of lethargic and tired, and Wow, here we go.
Okay,
so
there
we
you
got to
go.
now spoon this
We
out,
have to
or?
put them in a ball. We have to do them in 1-inch balls.
One giant ball?
No, no, no. We're going to do 1-inch balls. Let's see. I'm going to start with. Okay, and this truly is the simplest recipe of all. And oh my gosh, it smells so good.
Why don't I dump this into a smaller bowl and then I'll make
Let's
a
do that,
second
and then you're
batch.
going to make a batch. And the next batch we're going to do is going to have crunchy peanut butter. Because as we said, a recipe is only a beginning. And you want to start with your basics and then add to it. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. You know how hungry I am.
I'm pretty hungry too. I was thinking about hitting some of that peanut
Hans,
butter.
where's the lemon pie you promised me?
Well,
Well, Hans.
they got stuck in traffic in Jasper.
Yeah. The Woodbridge Inn has the most amazing. And did your mom start that lemon pie?
It was actually my Aunt Rita, which is actually technically isn't my aunt. It's just a family friend that I thought was my aunt until I was about 18 years old. You know how that is. They're that close a friend. It's her recipe. And I
Okay.
think we would have a revolution if we ever took it off the menu. People would just.
Oh, it is so amazingly good. And I tell everybody my birthday's in January, and my crew used to say, "What do you want for your birthday? What kind of cake?" And I say, "I don't want a cake. I want a lemon pie from the Woodbridge Inn." You can go by there and purchase a whole pie. Stop in Jasper and visit the nice folks at the Woodbridge Inn, and then come on up to Town and Country. And that one's a little bit too big. But does this not smell
That smells
great?
really good. I just ate
It
some. It's
smells
pretty
so
good.
good. Is it? Is it? Well, it is full of sugar, and we will tell you, you can try this recipe without the regular sugar by using Splenda. But it is a great, great recipe, and it is truly so, so simple. 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 egg, and a little bit of vanilla flavoring. So there you go.
Well, the thing I like about those 1-1-1 sort of things is that if you really aren't a measurer, as long as you have the same amount. I mean, if I ended up with a cup and a half of something, and as long as I did a cup and a half of the next thing, we make a little lazy girl cobbler that's in my cookbook. It's just a cup of flour, a cup of sugar, and an egg, 1 egg. It's very similar, I guess, except for we do have the flour in there. And it's the kind of thing where if you mismeasure, it's forgiving. I imagine this is too. This isn't going to be one of those, rocket science kind of precise things.
Right.
If we mess it up by a bit, it just makes an extra cookie.
Okay, now we're going to mash these down, and then I'm going to add, purely because I do like a little bit of chocolate. Girls need a little bit of chocolate and a little bit of peanut butter. But it is so, so simple, and thank you, Joyce Kearns, for submitting this recipe. These cook at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes on the top rack, and I will tell you, I did some on the bottom rack, and the way I'm telling you to do the top, I learned a lesson. I burned them when I tried to do it on the bottom rack. I did. So now I'm going to add some chocolate to some of these, and then I'm going to add some jelly to some of these, because I am a chocolate peanut butter girl, and I love jelly. Love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
How did the jelly do in the oven when you did that?
It did okay because I put it in the middle.
Okay.
Now, I knew I was that smart, young man.
Well, I'm just curious.
I've known him since he was 4 years old. And at 4 years old, I could tell you stories about him, but he could also tell you some stories about me, and we'll just drop it at that. We'll just drop it at that. That's right. That's right. If you like white chocolate drops, you can also add that. So right now, Hans and I are going to finish this recipe. We're going to stick it in the oven, and we're going to bring on a couple of guests. One of them tasted these the first time I made them and loved them. The next guest is a lady who lost her young son to a drunk driver. And we're going to talk a little bit about the holidays and what it means to, if you do drink, please drink responsibly. We're going to talk about making a difference in a family, because this family is now ready to adopt a child, and we're going to encourage you, if you know someone who's looking for a home for a child, we're going to share the Singleton's life with you, and I think you'll learn to love Shirley just as much as I do. We'll be back in just a second. Welcome back. We have our first pan of cookies in the oven, and I brought on my sampler. Freddy Brackett joined us. Now, you sampled these the first time I made them. What'd you think?
Oh, they were great. I couldn't believe
Easy.
with what little ingredients is in it, how good they turned out. They're really
Excellent.
good.
Now, we have decided, we brought Shirley Singleton on. Shirley is a mom who used to make cookies with her young child. This is a simple recipe. Hans, let's talk about what you did differently in the second recipe. Did you change the peanut butter?
Yeah, we used the chunky, and I was thinking as we were doing that too, some crushed pecans or even macadamia nuts or something in there would be really good too. But yeah, we used the crunchy, that was the only difference, and then we're going to add some more of your jam and chocolate concoction. But as we talked about, if you did this as sort of a family project, you could add any sort of little toppings on here. If everybody could do their own little
I think if
variation.
Angela were here, we would be adding M&Ms.
Oh yeah, that's a
She
good
is an
idea.
M&M girl. Now, Shirley, let's talk a little bit about the M&M boy in your life.
Okay.
A little boy named Brady Singleton lost his life to a drunk driver a year and a half ago.
Right, yes.
Okay. So a year and a half after losing your child, we're here making cookies. Talk about the memories of making cookies with Brady.
Well, actually, this is a recipe that I have, that my recipe is with Splenda, I guess, but I love this recipe, and yes, we have made it for Brady.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Brady, and we're going to show you some photos of Brady. He was an amazing little boy. His grandfather told me one day, he said, "You just don't understand how special he was."
Right.
He lost his life because drunk drivers didn't stop to render aid when they caused an accident.
Yes.
So what do you want to say to the general public when you are thinking about drinking and driving? What does it mean to you to stop that from happening?
Well, it just means everything. I mean, when you know that your child would be here today if this hadn't happened, there was no reason for Brady to die. And, you know, I think it takes someone who's really uncaring to not stop and offer aid when they've caused a wreck. And
He died after the fact.
yes,
He actually drowned
Yes.
after being left in a creek.
right.
And had no bruises on him?
No bruises.
Yeah. Well, Freddie and I were talking about this today on the way up here. We want to go to his gravesite. Can you tell us where he's buried?
Yes, the cemetery is Friendship Baptist Church Cemetery, and it's on Highway 294 in North Carolina. It's above Fields of the Woods, if you know where that is. So,
Now, Hans
There it
has
is.
2 young children.
Yep.
Can you talk about what would happen to your life if you went home and said, "Amy, look what happened on the way home from work today"?
I can't even imagine. I mean, my parents had to deal with the loss, obviously, of my sister through cancer, and not that it's any different, but with that, at least, it's a slower process, and you sort of anticipate, that it's happened. In that situation, I can't imagine just sort of like a light switch and it's gone. So I definitely feel for you. That's an amazing thing. But I'm proud that you're here to help encourage other folks to really be mindful and be responsible. Especially as we approach the holidays. It's an important message to deliver, and it's a tough one to deliver. And I think you're very brave, and I'm proud of you for doing that.
thank you.
I'm so proud to call her my friend. I'm going to tell you something. We met because of the meal in McCaysville. We immediately became the dearest friends, and I would go home and tell Freddie about you. I said, "You just got to meet these people. You got to meet these people. You are everything I told them. You are such special, such great Christian people, and we are looking for a child for you
Oh,
because
thank
you
you.
are ready for adoption now." Now, can you and Hans finish these cookies, and let's get them stuck in the oven,
we'll
and
try.
we're going to talk about there are moms out there today who are lucky enough to still have their children. Please think about what you're doing if you're drinking and driving. Now, you know of a young man who was killed in Ball Ground. No drinking and driving involved, but remember years and years ago on a Friday night in Ball Ground, somebody hit a power line and a 16, 17-year-old kid was killed. How do you recover from that? How do you stay responsible? It's tough.
Real tough, yeah.
It's tough. And it's
I
one of
can't
those
even
things.
imagine.
No, it's one of those things. You don't want to ever be the person who has to go home and say, "I'm sorry that I'm responsible for your child's death." So
Right.
we encourage people to please drive responsibly, pay attention, and if you do cause an accident, if they had stopped, Brady would still be here.
Yes.
And you promised me we're going up to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are, Shirley. We're going to do that.
That's so
I think
thoughtful.
Yeah, he said that on the way up here this morning, and we said we need to do that for y'all. We're going to show some photos of Brady Singleton. He was how old when he passed away?
He was 3 years, 9 months.
Okay, 3 years and 9 months of an amazing young man his granddaddy's name is Grady.
Yes.
Grady was also in the accident. Grady is a miracle. God saw
yes.
fit to save him. How long was he in the hospital?
Oh, about 2 months, and he was unconscious for about 3 weeks. And his doctors really didn't think he was going to survive. He had to have brain surgery to relieve pressure. Luckily, however, his mind is perfect. You know, he's fully himself. He has trouble with balance. He has to be very careful now when he's walking, and
he has some amazing stories to tell, and if you see him, I promise you he will share the stories of this wonderful young child. Please remember Brady Singleton every time you get in a car to drive somewhere, and know that you too can make a difference in somebody's life. Now, Hans, you're adding chocolate chips to these. I did chocolate chips. This is crunchy peanut butter and chocolate chips.
Yep,
this is going to be great. Now, do you like crunchy peanut butter or not?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. I wasn't sure you did or not. I know you are a Jif peanut butter man, is that right?
That's right.
That's right. That's right. You know, you're a little bit opinionated.
Cheesy mothers choose Jif.
That's right. Cheesy mothers choose Jif. We're going to take a break now. We're going to go to some music. We're going to go to music by his favorite group, the Bridgmans. Travis and Alicia Bridgman, two of our dearest, dearest friends. Travis is the pastor of Antioch Baptist Church over in Forsyth County. We encourage you to go visit with them and get to hear a little music by them and get to hear an awesome message delivered by Travis on Sunday mornings. Right now, let's go to the Bridgmans.
Oh, when I meet you up in heaven, up there where shining crowns are given, we'll talk together, we'll walk together, hand in hand, hand in hand. We'll take the stroll beside the river, where separation some know never. Oh, when I meet you, oh, when I greet you, in that land, glory land. Oh, there will be no stormy weather up there in heaven, sunny clime. We'll have a time to spend together. We'll never have to hurry. There'll be lots of time. There'll be no grief. There'll be no crying. There'll be no pain. There'll be no dying. Oh, when I meet you, oh, when I greet you, over there. We'll never know a disappointment. Nobody there will be despondent. There'll be no sadness. All will be gladness. Evermore, evermore. We'll join the saints of every nation. We'll have a happy celebration. Oh, when I meet you, oh, when I greet you, on that shore, golden shore. Oh, there will be no stormy weather up there in heaven, sunny clime. We'll have the time to spend together. We'll never have to hurry. There'll be lots of time. There'll be no grief. There'll be no crying. There'll be no pain. There'll be no dying. Oh, when I meet you, oh, when I greet you, over there. When I see you there, when I meet you there, when I greet you over there. Oh, there will be no stormy weather up there in heaven, sunny clime. We'll have a time to spend together. We'll never have to hurry. There'll be lots of time. There'll be no grief. There'll be no crying. There'll be no pain. There'll be no dying. Oh, when I meet you, oh, when I greet you, over there. I see you there, when I meet you there, when I greet you over there.
Welcome back. I know. Now, Freddy Brackett, did you like that Bridgman music?
I love the Bridgmans.
I know
Love
you
the
do.
Bridgmans.
That's my Christmas present to you, the Bridgmans.
Thank you very much.
It's also my Christmas present to y'all. You can check them out at thebridgmans.com. Now, Hans Rueffert has just taken some cookies out of the stove. They look pretty good. Oh,
Another
yeah.
minute or two, or?
Yeah, maybe another minute or two. They look amazing. They were so simple. Now, Hans, can you share with us, the cookies are for the children. The wings came from Pizza King and Ella J. Now, we're not going to say that we stayed up all night long and did these, right? But we will say you took the motorhome under something that said 11 foot and the motorhome's 12 feet. How did we do that?
We wasn't sure we was going to be getting our wings this morning.
But it's very important to simplify the holidays. We simplified our holidays by going by Pizza King and picking up wings. We had Hans bring a dipping sauce. Now, Hans, tell me about this sauce.
Well, you know, wings are typically spicy, or at least a lot of times they are spicy, so I want to do something that's cooling. And so this is sort of based on a Greek sauce called tzatziki, which is a yogurt-based sauce. And of course, yogurt, me with my stomach cancer history, I'm always looking for things that are or stomach and digestive, healthy or friendly items. So it's plain yogurt with cucumbers, which are de-seeded and sliced up, a little garlic, some salt, and a lot of fennel. And fennel is one of those spices that is also, it's got a cooling property to it. It also is one of those things that helps aid in digestion. So, I mean, let's be honest, you eat a bunch of wings and you don't always necessarily feel your best. Sometimes you eat too many. So this is a great way to have something that's sort of healthy, and it has, again, that sort of cooling property. So you take one bite and you're like, oh my God, I'm on fire. The next bite is like, ooh, this is good. But you know, the great thing about wings is they only get hot when you stop eating them, so you have to keep eating them constantly.
That's right.
So this is a good sauce to sort of complement that. So.
Now we're going to share these wings with our audience, and these we did barbecue, teriyaki, and then I also have some plain ones on another segment. We're going to do something. I like orange marmalade. Shirley, do you like orange marmalade?
I do.
I love orange marmalade, so we're going to share a dipping sauce I do with orange marmalade and barbecue sauce. The whole thing about the holidays is keep it simple, keep it fun, and keep it. It's got to be family, whether it's your immediate family or people you've brought on, like you and I have become family. Hans and I have become family. Now let's see those cookies.
Another 90 seconds and we would have toasted these.
We would have toasted them. We would have toasted them. Keep it simple.
They're nice and they're firming up good.
And we're going to let the audience taste these cookies. This recipe is on the website. The wings called Pizza King here. They're in Ella J. And order, you know, I ordered 100, 150, 200, you know, about 250 of these today. You can call and order any amount, and then you can make your own dipping sauce. Hans, can we have the recipe for this dipping sauce? Is it on the Woodbridge Inn? Well, can you put it on the Woodbridge Inn in writing so they can go to it?
I'll put something together for you, sure.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. Because I guarantee you somebody will call and say, now what did he say?
Yep.
Now tell us again, cucumbers.
So I had one container of plain yogurt, not vanilla, because that would be awful, with about 2 cucumbers that I seeded and peeled, chopped up roughly in there. Nice, probably, if I had to guess, about 1/4 cup of fennel, chopped up small, the actual fronds of the fennel, the green part, with probably a teaspoon of garlic and just salt and pepper to taste. I mean, it's a fairly simple thing.
Smells good.
And it's one of those things too that's great the day you make it. The next day it's even better. You know, a lot of those dips and sauces and things, they really, as they sit in the fridge and kind of get to know each other and talk about things, it gets that much better.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about the Woodbridge Inn. Tell folks your hours.
We are open right now Tuesday through Saturday from 5 until 9, so dinner only on Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And then lunch only on Sundays. And Sundays is one of those days if you're coming, make reservations because we do get people lined out the door on Sundays, which is great. You know, the preacher says amen and everybody goes amen. Let's go to Woodbridge. So
that's right.
We have a good after church crowd there on Sundays. So.
And we want to encourage you, do go to the Woodbridge Inn and get to know this young man. He truly is a miracle. Shirley, have you followed his career? Do you know a little bit about what happened with him?
Well, I know a little bit about him, yes. I followed him, I guess, for the last year and year and a half, maybe.
He's a miracle. He is a miracle, and we are so fortunate to have him with us. His book is still available at Hans. How do you do that?
Well, it's on hanscooks.com, and it's also on Amazon, and a lot of local shops too. And I always recommend people to buy them either here at Town and Country, or Out of the Blue, or Jasper Drugstore, or anywhere locally you can find it. Because again, you're supporting local economies, and I'm a big fan having a local business.
And not paying shipping.
That's right.
Not paying shipping.
But we need to keep our local mom and pop places in business.
That's exactly right. So check out the Woodbridge Inn. Please come to Town and Country and visit with these nice folks. We're going to go off the air today with my Christmas gift to my daughter Angela. Back to Bethany is a local group from here in Fannin County, Georgia. I know the first time I heard them, I was blown away, absolutely blown away. And when Angela called and said, Mom, who are those ladies? Please have them back. Sit back right now and enjoy a little music by Back to Bethany. If you'd like to book them, we'll also have their website available for you. They are local, Fannin County, have song, will travel. Sit back and enjoy from Heart of the Home, Town and Country. We say, what now? Never say goodbye. We'll
See you later.
you later. We'll see you later, only on Heart of the Home. You be here and we'll be here too.
When I look around and see the good things He does for me, I know I'm unworthy of them all. But His blessings He freely gives. I owe my life to Him. I've got so much to thank Him for. And I've got so much to thank Him for. So much to praise Him for. You see, He's been so good to me. And when I think of what He's done and where He brought me from, I've got so much to thank Him for. And sometimes while on this way, I kneel, I stop and say, thank you for all you've done for me. And one day I'll reach heaven's shore.